All right. Welcome, everybody. Episode number 1 of 28 Switch here on Bet the Beach Live. My name is Chris Turk, and I'm really happy you guys could join us here today. 28 Switch is a creation. Basically think NFL Red Zone with historical beach volleyball matches. So what I'm going to do for you here over the course of the next 45 minutes is play you 2 matches from history. At the same time, we're going to flip between the 2 of them. The 28 switch means that when we get to the 28-point side switch, we flip to that game and we show you every point until that game is concluded. If both games are in the 28 switch, we show you both games. For today, the episode title is The Handoff. What do I mean by the handoff? Well, this was a very interesting time in American beach volleyball history. On the left side of your screen, the 2008 AVP Manhattan Beach Open Women's Final between April Ross and Jenn and the legends Misty Mae-Traenor and Kerri Walsh-Jennings. Misty and Kerri coming off a gold in the 2008 Beijing Olympics, not a month earlier than that. Misty and Kerri also winning gold in 2004 in Athens. 2 straight AVP or Olympic golds for Misty and Kerri. Meanwhile, April Ross, 3rd year on the AVP Tour. 2006, Rookie of the Year. 2007, Most Improved Player. And here in 2008, she faces off against Misty and Kerri for the first time. On the other side of your screen, the 2007 AVP Tampa Open Men's Finals. You got Gibb and Rosenthal versus the legend Karch Kiraly and his partner for this match here, Kevin Wong. Karch, 46 years old. He beat Phil and Todd Rogers in the semis to make it here to the finals. He won the gold in the 96 Olympics with Kent Steffes. This is his first final since Chicago in September of 2005. He's now going for his 149th win on the AVP Tour. Meanwhile, Gibb, Rosenthal, success, but qualified success. 6th straight AVP Finals appearance in 2007 is this matchup here in Tampa. However, Gibb and Rosenthal, losers of 10 straight AVP Finals, the majority of them to Phil Dahlhauser and Todd Rogers, looking to correct that here and get a gold here in Tampa. Karch's partner for this match, Kevin Wong. He would take 5th in the 2000 Olympics in Sydney. He's got 8 AVP wins in his career, and he's looking for his 9th here today with Karch Kiraly. So why is it called the handoff? Well, this is a very influential point in American beach volleyball history. This is really the transition. Misty and Kerri, the gold standard, literally and figuratively, for 2 prior Olympics. April Ross would take that torch from Misty May, partner up with Kerri Walsh, we'll talk about that later, and really take American beach volleyball into the 2010s and the 2020s. On the other side of the game, Karch Kiraly, like I said, it's his first gold medal match on the AVP Tour in 2 years. Could this be his last finals appearance? We will see. So let me get you down to the court. We're going to start with the women's match. The 2008 AVP Manhattan Open Women's Finals. On the call, Chris Skeeter McGee, the legend, Karch Kiraly, Holly McPeak, and St. John Smith. Let's take you down to the Manhattan Beach Open and Chris Skeeter McGee.
In Manhattan Beach, California. Chris McGee along with Karch Kiraly, Holly McPeak, and St. John Smith. The 47th Manhattan Beach Open, the most prestigious volleyball tournament in the world. Misty Mae-Traenor, our first server, the 3-time reigning MVP. Jenn attacks it. Cross court, 1-0. April Ross will be our next server. April Ross out of USC, just 26 years of age. 2 years ago, she was the Rookie of the Year. Last year, the Most Improved. Now she's just one of the best. Great jump server, and she goes deep at May. And Misty puts it down the line for 1-1. Kerri Walsh-Jennings, 2-time MVP, 101 career victories, was a 4-time first-team All-American out of Stanford. Won 2 national championships, playing for the Cardinal. Float serve down the line at Jenn. Walsh is going to have a chance to put it away, and she does.
And Chris, as you mentioned, a 4-time college All-American Walsh was, but she had never played beach volleyball until Misty Mae called her up and said, hey, why don't you think about making the conversion here? Really frustrated she was for the first 5 or 6 months, almost quit, goes on to win 2 gold medals.
Boss cross court, shot is wide, 3-1. And Holly McPeak, what makes them so good is Kerri Walsh, the most dominant blocker, and Misty Mae-Traenor, arguably the greatest defensive player, or is she?
Oh, she is. They complement each other, though. Kerri Walsh at the net, she has so much size. She's such a great blocker, but she also retreats off the net and plays great defense, runs down any ball that Misty digs, and their games complement each other. That's what makes them the best ever.
More from Manhattan Beach when we return. Welcome back to the AVP Crocs Cup Shootout in Manhattan Beach Open. Jennifer Boss grew up in San Juan Capistrano. She also went to USC, 6 feet tall. She was an All-American there. This is her 14th AVP final. She has not won on the AVP Crocs Tour. She did win with April last year in Norway, a Grand Slam international event.
And remember, Boss and Ross face a big challenge. As Holly mentioned earlier, double elimination tournament. Boss and Ross beat Mae and Walsh earlier. No team has ever beaten Mae Walsh twice in the same tournament.
What about the same day, Karch?
Within 5 or 6 hours even.
April Ross this time will swing from the right. Down the line, good, 3-4. Time for Nautica.com, navigate the match.
For the team of Kerri Walsh and Misty Mae.
Got our first side switch on the women's side. April Ross and Jenn Boss trailing 3-4, but with the serve. Back out to the women's match, April Ross and Jenn Boss.
Have been signing out really well against them.
And, of course, on the other side of the net for Boss and Ross, a big key is trusting each other, listening to each other. Boss talked about it earlier today, that they are talking and communicating much better, having great success in the late part of the tournaments or the late part of the tour. The other, of course, is converting their scoring opportunities. This would be one such. If they convert that often, they put a lot of pressure on Mae Walsh, and they do so here.
And April Ross does a great job right there, showing like she's going to hit line. Misty goes to line, and she cuts at angle.
Well, that's all about the communication, and Boss and Ross have really focused on that the last 3 weeks. They said, look, that's our weak spot. If we listen to each other, trust each other, we can make the right call and be able to put the ball away.
And I know that's one thing their coach, Coley Kyman, has worked a lot on since he joined them back in June. And they made that Olympic run. They came up short. They were our 3rd American team, ranked 7th in the entire world, but were left out of the Olympic Games as Kerri Walsh delivers it. And back to that, Holly McPeak, how frustrating it was for April and Jenn to come that close. But they have really, impressively, have bounced back.
Well, Boss and Ross, they said they left it there. And when they didn't qualify, they let it go. They said, hey, we gave it our all. They really regrouped, refocused, and their goal was to peak this weekend in Manhattan Beach.
You know, when Kerri Walsh and Misty Mae-Traenor came back from Beijing with that 112-match win streak, no one could ever compete with them, but then Boss and Ross have done more than just compete. They beat them a few weeks ago in Santa Barbara. Were up 13-11 last week in San Francisco and lost 16-14, and then beat them today.
Their confidence is much improved, and I think that comes with beating them. You can say, hey, we can beat this team, but until you actually do, the confidence kind of wavers. But now they feel like, hey, the last 3 weeks, we've really pushed them, and because of their serving like this ace down the middle, they really have a nice chance to upset this team one more time.
6-5 here in game number 1. And that serve is just wide. Score will go to 6-6.
That's part of the high-risk strategy you see, Chris, is that teams, especially Boss and Ross, will do what we call the jump serve, throw it up and attack it from behind the end line. You won't see that from Mae and Walsh very much. They are considered one of the weaker serving teams. They just want to keep it in, give Walsh a chance to block. She misses that one, but had it close there. Her right hand pulled off the net.
Jenn Boss, who used to play with Holly McPeak, played on the left side. She now has moved over to the right side playing with April Ross, and she's a better side-out player over there, Holly.
She definitely sees the court better, and that's important. If you're a hitter hitting against a block in a defense, you want to see the court well, and she definitely is much more comfortable on the right.
Well, April Ross has been
on
fire.
All right, coming up on our second side switch on the women's side here, as Kerri Walsh puts it away to make it 7-7. Let's get you out to the men's game for the first time. First side switch complete. Karch with the serve, up 5-2 over Jake Gibb and Sean Rosenthal from the Tampa Men's Open Finals 2007.
Hit by Sean Rosenthal. Well, when the wind isn't blowing that ball around, and it's toughest, I think it's toughest with this wind with Sean because he jumps so high. He has to jump earlier than most people because he gets up so darn high, and sometimes the ball isn't where he expects it to be.
Jake Gibb to serve, 5-3 Karch Wong. Here's Karch.
Go, Sean.
On to open court. Great recognition by Jake Gibb.
4-5 on the board.
Now, how badly do Jake Gibb and Sean Rosenthal need a win? Well, how about the fact that they have lost in 10 straight AVP finals? 6 of those to Dahlhauser and Rogers, 4 of them to Metzger and Lambert.
Wow, you're harsh, Mike.
Well, it's just the stats.
10 straight. That's almost unheard of, but I'm telling you right now, this is their best chance ever, really, to win a final this year.
But give credit where credit's due. Gibb and Rosie in their 6th final in 7 tournaments this year. And I talked to Jake Gibb a little bit about that cinch, and he said, absolutely, we're proud of the consistency, but we need to get to the #1 spot.
Now, if you watch, Karch does not quite have the same power he used to have, although he can still hit that ball. But look at the finesse. He drops that ball short angle, and Rosenthal's a tremendous defensive player. He didn't even get close to it.
Handled by Kevin Wong. Rosenthal with the hammer.
Rosie with a big save, 5-6.
Wow, that's a big hit right there. Out of the middle, hitting to the deep corner. Not even Karch could dig that one. I think if that ball is shoulder high for you, normally players are going to let that go, and Karch let that go, and it hit deep in the court.
Oh, well, he's got a little bit left. That's a hammer by Karch.
This is a great jumping beach for everybody, including Karch. Karch says he doesn't like the hard surfaces. In fact, he hasn't been playing in some of the events with hard surfaces, but you can really get up on the sand, and Karch gets up nicely, and he has a great line hit, one of the best line hits out here. It's hard to tell. He's facing his body cross court, and he whips that arm right across his body down the line.
Short serve to Jake Gibb. And through the block of Kevin Wong. Karch actually talked about, and you talked about the hard pack sand here, that he believes they might not be in the finals if he wouldn't have taken last weekend in Louisville off. And Kevin Wong said when he showed up to practice on Tuesday morning, it was a different Karch Kiraly, and he could tell the explosiveness was back after the weekend off. He felt like they might have a good tournament.
Yeah, some of these events, when Karch plays a bunch of matches, he really looks beat up by the end of the event.
Well, he's almost as old as you, brother. The joust. And the point continues. And he found the line. Kevin Wong, Karch Kiraly, 8-6.
Ladies and gentlemen, turn your attention to the big screen. You find yourself on it.
That does the falling down on his knees here. Watch, I don't know if they're going to give you the most recent play here, but the falling down on the knees set here by Karch Kiraly. Does it remind you of anybody? Kind of a Phil Dahlhauser-esque falling down on the knees set. So we got the women's match, Kerri and Misty up 14-9 just after the third switch. And meanwhile, the men's match is ongoing here, 8-6 at the end of the second switch. And we're going to take you back out to the men's match here. And we can listen to the commentators, Chris Skeeter-McGee, Mike Goldberg, and St. John Smith with the call.
Downtown Tampa, Florida. Frequent visitors are the best beach players in the world to the state of Florida. This is the 17th different stop within the Sunshine State for the first time ever in Tampa. Rosenthal with a big swing.
Rosie,
it's just amazing. When he is in control, and he didn't hit that ball as hard as he could, but he jumped from about 8 feet off the net, hit that ball nice and high, deep, and those are the ones that are very, very difficult to dig. Incredibly difficult. Hammer
by Karch.
I just think that the fact that Karch is in the final, I think he's just juiced up a little bit.
For
what
sure.
do you think?
I think there's a teeny bit of enthusiasm and adrenaline going through the body, the 46-year-old body of Karch Kiraly right now. 8 pounds lighter than he was 1 season ago working with Mike Rangel. Rangel said he thinks it's made him quicker, and more so, it has made things easier on his knees because Karch, and you guys played this game a long time, St. John, had never had a knee injury until last year, and he not only had 1 knee surgery, but 2 1 season ago. So Mike Rangel challenged him to take 8 pounds off what was already a pretty lean frame. And the hammer by Rosenthal, speaking of lean and mean.
But you know what else? Karch, I think, for a long time thought he was indestructible, like I was.
Yeah.
But you realize at some point, with age, you can't do everything you used to do. So his regimen of training has been scaled back just a little bit, just so he knows he has a certain amount of jumps left, and he wants to be able to save them for the game.
And that one just a bit out. Karch said, yeah, I'm not training harder. I'm training much smarter.
That's exactly right.
And we found out that you're the only one indestructible.
Out here, we got ourselves a ball game coming up for all 4 athletes.
Here this is. This ball wasn't that far out. Karch was surprised, but it just barely, and I think maybe the wind had a little something to do with that because the wind was blowing with the ball, carrying it out of bounds.
Good game 1. 10-9 Wong Kiraly.
Help me over.
Way off the net, Kevin. That was tough.
We got ourselves
And look,
a
Karch
10-10
right away
ball game.
says that was my bad. And that's the one thing he said in playing with Kevin Wong, St. John. He said he's been overly pleased with the chemistry they have. They're both pretty calm guys. They're both pretty positive. They're both supportive. And they both place blame on themselves before they do on their partners.
Well, you know what? They're both pretty smart, too.
Yeah.
I mean, they know what to do, when to do it. They know that they need to help their partners, not hurt their partners. And it's worked out pretty well for them.
Kevin Wong makes it 11-10.
All right, we got the third side switch there in the men's match from the 2007 AVP Tampa Open men's finals. Karch Kiraly and Kevin Wong with the 11-10 lead headed into the back half of the first game. Let's go back out to the women's match right now, where Misty and Kerri are taking on April Ross and Jenn Boss. Boss and Ross trailing 12-16. Jenn Boss with the serve.
An ace serve, exactly what they needed to get back into this ball game, get a little of that momentum, possibly heading into game 2. We've seen it before. Boss and Ross, this is how they're effective, tough serves.
Absolutely. You can see the contrast with their aggressive serving versus the much more tactical serving of Mae and Walsh. Boss and Ross have to be really aggressive to create those scoring opportunities.
Cross court is at Mae-Traenor. She's blocked but covered. The pokey deep, and it gets away. Point by Mae-Traenor and Walsh. Wow, they dodged the bullet there.
Great cover play by Misty Mae to keep that alive. She got a very inside set. This is a nice save by Kerri Walsh to keep it alive. April Ross with the block. Kerri Walsh puts it back up. It's a little tight. Misty Mae, just so experienced, uses that knuckle to get it in the deep corner.
17-13. We played a 21, must win by 2. 2 out of 3 format. Ross hits it hard on 2. Mae-Traenor digs it. They'll get a free ball. Back to April Ross. She goes to the right side. Down the line, Walsh digs. It's kept alive. Boss. It's a great rally in Manhattan Beach. And it's called.
How about that, Geeter? Misty Mae trying for what we call the dill, the kill off the dig, putting it over on 1, something that cost her opponents dearly in the Olympics. The Chinese trying that. You never see Misty Mae trying what some would call like kind of a cheesy shot out there. The ball has to be hard driven for it to stick in your hands a little, and the referee felt it stuck just a little bit in Walsh's overhand contact.
I want to know what Holly thought, Karch, because her mouth has been open for a few seconds. She's not sure.
I thought the ball was driven, personally. I thought that's a ball that she could take overhand. It didn't stick too much.
So you would have argued?
I would have let that play go if I were the referee.
Mae-Traenor has to go on her knees to pass it because it skips off the tape. Can Ross make it a 2-point game? It's a tight set. but she stabs it with her right and shoots it down the line. What a play by the young April Ross.
Boss and Ross do such a great job of keeping the ball alive. They're both so tall, so offensively, they get another chance at the net. April Ross listens to her partner, goes over line for a big kill.
April Ross, definitely a future star of this game. She is already. But everyone talks about her in 2012. Out of USC, where she won 2 national championships. And she bombs an ace down the line to make it 16-17. And Holly, we saw this in Santa Barbara. We saw it in San Francisco. This is how this team is effective against Walsh-Maine. They're doing it again.
April Ross is really kind of on the bad side with the wind at her back, but she is so aggressive. She hits that ball right on the back line.
42-20 in AVP matches this season. Boss and Ross have made it to 11 of 12 Final Fours. This time they go hard at Mae-Traenor. And Misty absolutely feasts on that ball down the line, 18-16.
Well, I think
18-16 in the women's side as Misty May and Kerri Walsh with a narrow lead over their contenders, April Ross and Jenn Boss. Let's go out to the men's side. We got Chris Geeter-McGee with the legend, Phil Dahl.
Weird for us. What's it like watching the final?
You know, I'm relaxed. I'm enjoying myself. I'm a Bud Light, and I'm just having fun watching Karch play amazing ball.
Now, you're from Florida, so you have a lot of hometown fans here. Is that a little extra pressure, or do you enjoy it?
You know what? I don't even pay attention to it. Like, I hang out with them before and after our matches, and that's about it. You know, they give me crap if I lose, so, you know, it's all fun.
Now, we talked about Karch Kiraly. He is playing unbelievable. What is he doing?
You know, he's siding out. He's hitting the ball really hard. I haven't seen him hit the ball this hard in a long time. I think he's just fired up.
Now, you guys didn't serve him. You served Kevin Wong most of the match.
We tried him a few times, and he was chopping around, hitting. He was mixing up really great. We couldn't get any points off him.
Now, I have a question for you, because I always announce your games here on Center Court. Todd, he's like your father and mother put together. He's talking to you on every single play. What is he saying to you?
He instructs me usually, and if I make a mistake,
Go,
if I don't press on a block, or what I could do next play, then when in the same situation and stuff like that. So,
well, I ask you, have you ever said to him, "I'm 6'9" and I'm the thin beast. Don't tell me how to block"?
usually I tell him I know what you're going to say before you even say it. So save your breath.
Save your breath. Right now we got 15-14, Kiraly and Wong leading. Karch Kiraly serving. Now they're going at Rosie. You expect them to stay on that the whole match?
Absolutely. Rosie makes mistakes. Some come in bunches, so I expect them to stick on Rosie, and if he gets in a groove, then he'll probably test shakeout.
And you've been seeing a lot more serves the last few weeks. People just thinking, what? How do you beat the beast? We maybe just got to serve him a little bit, tire him out.
Well, Todd's siding out at a really high percentage, so they might as well give me a shot and see if I make a mistake or hitting a block or whatever.
All right, thanks very much, Phil. And we're going to go out to game point in the first game. Misty and Kerri up 20-18.
In Manhattan Beach, a sold-out capacity crowd. Mae-Traenor digs it. And that's the game. Wrist away down the line. Got it. 21-18. The two-time gold medalists, Misty Mae-Traenor and Kerri Walsh, take game one. Stick around. More from Manhattan Beach when we return. There it is. Got it. Well, if you're a beach
Phil Dahlhauser would know better than most anyone about working and trying to beat down Sean Rosenthal. 6-0, Dahlhauser and Rogers in AVP finals against Gibb and Rosenthal. And a big swing by Kevin Wong.
I'll tell you what, Kevin is very, very deceptive. He reaches really high, times it really well. He gets up okay, but I'm telling you, if you ask anybody, can Kevin jump? They go, no, he can't jump, but he'll hit over you.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to. 2 indoor gold medals, 1 on the beach in 1996 in Atlanta for the man in the pink hat with a great dig. And the finish by Gibb.
Smooth one.
Regardless of what happens here, though, St. John, this will be the first time in the last 15 events that a team other than Phil Dahlhauser, Todd Rogers, or Mike Lambert and Stein Metzger have won a men's title. And with so much parity that we talk about, it's really been kind of odd to see two teams more dominant than we've seen in years on the men's side of the AVP Crocs Tour.
Well, I want to talk about Lambert and Metzger, who are clearly one of the best teams,
ride.
but they just haven't shown it. And when you get conditions like this, the wind, where they had a hard times controlling the ball, anybody can win. I mean, it's the wind is the big equalizer.
And the last time Karch Kiraly was victorious was 2005 in Huntington Beach with Mike Lambert. And ironically, the last time Kevin Wong was victorious was at Hermosa in 2004 with Eric Fenoy Moana, and they defeated Karch Kiraly and Mike Lambert in that final. So in need of a win is Kevin Wong, Jake Gibb, Sean Rosenthal, and a man who'd love to get 149 is Karch Kiraly.
Everybody out there needs to win big time, and only two of them are going to get it.
17 on the board.
Kevin Wong. Over the top, Gibb was there, ball still alive. And he'll try the same shot. This time it works perfectly. 6'7", 34-year-old UCLA All-American, two-time national champion Kevin Wong. And we are even at 18.
Another Bruin.
Yep.
A lot of Bruins.
A lot of Bruins.
Bruins stick together, Wong and Kiraly.
I know. You created sports. I know. Oh, big serve. Just deep. At 18-18, do you like him going after that serve the way he did?
Yeah, well, one, he's on the side with the wind blowing in his face. You want to hit that hard serve. That's the best side to serve from. And at the end of the game, it shows you're going for it.
And just deep, Karch.
2018.
That hurts. 2018.
Karch is looking like that couldn't have been out.
Sean Rosenthal.
It was just barely out.
So a serve just barely deep, and then a big swing just barely out.
You know, Karch pretty much calculates all his hits. He knows where the court is, and he just can't believe that he hit that ball out of bounds.
He has a major in volleyball and a minor in physics. Game point. Okay. Game one to Gibb Rosenthal, 21-18.
21-18. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Game one in the men's side goes to Jake Gibb and Sean Rosenthal, 21-18. Meanwhile, on the women's side, after a 21-18 first game win by Misty, Mae, and Kerri Walsh, Misty and Kerri leading in game two, currently by a score of 5-2 as we head into the first side switch. Let's get you back out to the women's match where we have Chris Geeter, Karch Kiraly, Holly McPeak, and St. John Smith on the call.
And you know, the Manhattan Beach Open is so prestigious. I mean, compared to other sports, it's like the World Series for baseball, the NBA Finals for basketball, the Masters for golf, obviously the Super Bowl for football, and the Stanley Cup for hockey. You guys know this. Karch, you have 8 of them, the most of anybody. You are 8-0 in these games. That is a remarkable stat. Holly, you have 2 of them, and they're probably your most special ones.
They are, absolutely. This is the highlight of any professional beach volleyball player's career. If you can win the Manhattan Beach Open, your dream has come true.
Boss and Ross need a point. Walsh. Look at the defense by Mae-Traenor. Moves to the ball, gets there, and then delivers it just long.
And that's the
kind
kind
of
of
area
play
you were talking
that
about.
I was talking about. Misty Mae does not miss that for a year, but with a little less practice, little fewer opportunities to work out. Occasionally she'll hit a ball out like that, a foot or two, and that's what has kept it close. Went a year without losing and then have been close to losing several times and actually lost 3 times in the last few weeks.
April Ross into the net, 6-3. And what about the burnout for Kerri Walsh? I mean, she's been all over this country since they won gold, and she talked to you about that, Karch.
Absolutely. She feels like she's on the bottom of the pool looking up through all that water, and the water's getting murkier and the murkier and the pool is getting deeper, but she feels like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. because of the fact that, unlike 4 years ago, there was only a tournament or two after the Olympics. This time they've had to play through 4 or 5 events.
Kerri Walsh has been traveling everywhere. They've been on Oprah, Letterman, Good Morning America, Ronald McDonald House. Look at all those miles she traveled. And there's the backside. Another 90, 367, 350, a total of 10,256. That was after the Ellen show. That's a lot of travel.
And so it's understandable that they finally had their streak broken after 112 straight wins, and that they actually lost after winning 19 tournaments in a row. It's a time that you would expect them to have a little bit of a letdown.
Kerri Walsh makes it 7-4.
Tight pokey by Misty, and if you do not control that dig, Kerri Walsh is gobbling up anything tight to the net.
When I talked to Kerri Walsh today, I said, what's been the most fun you've had since the gold? Because everybody talks about how tired they are. She said last week, winning in San Francisco, going to her old high school, Archbishop Mitty, where she spoke in front of the entire student body, 1,600 kids, and then went to Stanford, and they honored her there. That was a really fun week, she said, and then they won. And she really wanted to win in front of her family, her friends, her old coaches.
After never having lost or failed to win in the 2 weeks before, they had not won either of those AVP events, and they'd never had that happen before. So yes, she was really hungry to win. Didn't want to lose 3 in a row.
But the truth is, Kerri Walsh loves to win. It's all about winning. I talked to her before this final. She's like, Holly, I really want this. I'm like, Kerri, you always want this, you know. But this is their last team event of the season, and you can just tell that this is the one she wants to end on a high note.
And it's Manhattan, and it's for a lot of money.
Just had our first side switch on the men's side. Jake Gibb and Sean Rosenthal leading 4-3 over Karch Kiraly and Kevin Wong. So a little bit of the inverse of the first game on the men's side. Karch and Kevin getting off to an early lead at the first switch. And this time it's Jake and Sean after getting the first game win 21-18. Coming out and winning that first switch 4-3 over Karch and Kevin Wong. A couple interesting things I want to point out, too, about this women's side. First, if you're a relatively new AVP fan, if you've been watching for the last few years, one, it's awesome to watch April Ross block. Her and Jenn Boss doing some split blocking here, and honestly, April's got the height for it. It's just you don't really think of her as a blocker, having partnered with Kerri Walsh and then Alex Kleinman for the 2020, then 2021 Tokyo Olympics. But April Ross optioning some balls here over on 2, so that's not exactly a new phenomenon, as some might have you think, and also doing some split blocking. Let's get you back out to the women's side. Misty May and Kerri Walsh leading 8-6 after the second switch.
Years old, your server, down by 2. Deep jumping to Misty Mae-Traenor, who handles it and taps it down the line, 9-6.
And that's what we were talking about before, side-out volleyball. When the other team serves, you control it perfectly with the first contact, the pass. Walsh, one of the best setters in the world, puts it in the perfect place. May with the kill.
April Ross off one foot, cuts it wide, 10-6. And Holly, one thing their coach, Jenn Boss and April Ross, Coley Kyman has talked about is confidence. Them, first off, believing that they can do this. And it has made a difference, especially these last few weeks. These ladies think they're going to win every single time they step out on the floor, even when they're down.
Definitely. That's what Coley said. He said, look, we're playing to win now. We're not playing not to lose. And that's what's really given them the confidence and the focus. They have come back from some deficits. They're doing a lot of the little things, covering blocked balls and digging balls for transition points that they haven't done in the past.
Coley was a great volleyball player at Cal State Northridge, but he also was the quarterback of the football team, and he likes to bring that football mentality, that toughness to these guys.
Well, it's definitely working. They look the most confident they've ever looked. We've seen them playing very strong the last 3 weeks. And over that Olympic break, that's when they really focused on peaking for this tournament.
Misty, what a soft cut shot. That ball is just too tough to defend.
Well, it all starts with that perfect pass. When Misty May passes that ball to the net, Kerri Walsh gives her a nice up and down set. Misty can see the entire court and puts it where they're not.
11-6. 7. Kerri Walsh with 12 kills, 5 digs. Playing close to a perfect game. Look at that left-handed stab, but Mae-Traenor unable to help her out. 8-11.
That's one thing that Walsh does probably better than any player in the world. Even though she's 6 foot, almost 3 inches, she is so fast pulling off the net and getting into defensive position. It's very difficult to get the ball over her head.
Boss and Ross trying to get their names on the pier at Manhattan Beach for the first time in their careers. Kerri Walsh and Misty Mae-Traenor have won it 3 times in a row, 4 out of the last 5. Hard jump serve, trickles off the tape, and good. Maybe that's the break they need.
You see some teams celebrate that, like Boss and Ross. Other teams
Say sorry.
apologize. And some people just say, hey, don't apologize. You just got a point on Mae Walsh. Take it any way you
If
get
I'm
it.
down
But it's a
8-11
play.
for the title against Mae and Walsh, I'm not apologizing. I'm celebrating.
It's a play of luck, and
Yep.
they'll take points any way they can get them.
Is it better to be lucky than good?
Against Mae and Walsh, they'll take it.
And we said it. They are never out of the ball game.
There's April Ross with the block.
It's 11.
And we have a side switch on the women's side. 10-11, Misty and Kerri have the narrowest of leads in the women's side, 11-10. Let's get you back out to the men's side where we have a close second set between Gibb and Sean Rosenthal. Let's get you out to the men's game.
Todd Rogers, who comes to the middle and chisels it back to the line. The block, you can see Gibb is ready for the line shot, but he's not over far enough. He doesn't get that ball, and that is his responsibility. He called line. That was his responsibility to block that ball.
Gibb. That had a little heat on it.
Karch was there. He just couldn't control it.
75 of his wins for Karch Kiraly came with Kent Steffes. 114 of your wins, Sinjin, came with your longtime partner Randy Stoklos, winning his team.
Over 10 years.
Wow.
And I had to dump Karch to play with Randy.
I think that was a win-win.
Yeah, well, Karch and I would have played together for many, many years, but he left to play indoors, and he couldn't commit. Randy was there, ready to commit, and we had similar success. Randy, playing with Randy and playing with Karch. So,
And then really you guys became arch rivals. I mean, in a good way, as far as the competition on the court, because you guys were the big four for many years.
Yeah, well, Karch went away, got a few gold medals indoors, and then he came back, and it was tough because he was the odd man out. He was searching around, finding partners. He played with some guys who were very, very good, but didn't have the kind of success that he really wanted at that time until he found Steffes, and they turned it up a notch.
That was some great storytelling there by St. John Smith, and I'll get you right back out there. But to go back to the 96 Olympics, it was Karch Kiraly and Kent Steffes that were able to take the gold, beating St. John Smith and Randy Stoklos in the semifinals that year. 3 Americans U.S. teams allowed to play, being the inaugural event in the USA, and the USA, the men's beach volleyball country at the time. So to hear St. John talking about Karch Kiraly, it's a good story there, and very interesting that you got St. John on the call of Karch's game on one side, and we have Karch on the call of Misty and Kerri on the other side. Let's get you back to the men's game.
Weather has truly been a factor this weekend in Tampa, but the fans have come out for this, our final. The first ever tournament contested in Tampa, right outside the St. Pete Times Forum, the home of the 2004 Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning. Big serve. Kiraly, and he was roofed. Jake Gibb in perfect position on that one.
Well, the real problem here was the tight set. The height was right. Karch timed it right. It's just he had to broad jump a little bit, so he loses some height and loses some range, but Gibb is all over the angle that time and blocks it back.
And that became a tight set because of what you talked about earlier, and that's the wind pushing it in.
There's Karch's signature right at the left.
He said there were some people teasing him the last couple of days. 1 more year, 5 more years, 10 more years.
If Karch plays another year, I'm coming back. That's it.
You know what? I almost want to see Karch come back another year to see that.
Shot just wide down the line.
11-10, Gibb Rosenthal.
11-10 at the side switch. That one going just outside. Let's get you back to the men's game. Geeter with Karch.
Let me tell you something. Usually when you go through a tournament, you look a little more tired. You look great out there, baby. Fresh as a daisy.
Hey, we stayed in the winner's bracket. Surprise, surprise. We got a little energy. That's the way to win tournaments. That's what Rogers and Dahlhauser have been doing all year long.
Now, you guys have started to go to Jake Gibb a little bit. Is that because Sean Rosenthal started to get into his groove?
Yeah, he really did seem to get into his groove. Sometimes you can go away from a player for just 2-3 serves and get him back out of the groove. So we went back to him. Still haven't had any luck yet.
Karchy, great job. Good luck out there, buddy. We appreciate it. Karch Kiraly down 1 point.
Couple of legends there. Chris Geeter McGee, the legendary AVP stadium commentator and play-by-play guy for many years in the 90s for the AVP with the legend Karch Kiraly. And interesting there, too, you saw them in that first game go at Sean Rosenthal with limited success. Rosie hitting it very, very well in that first game. And in that interview with Phil, talking about how you'd go at Rosie because you can make mistakes in bunches, but really hasn't done a lot of that here today. They go at Jake Gibb a little bit. We'll see if they go back to Rosie. Let's go back to the women's side where Misty May and Kerri Walsh have a 17-12 lead over Jenn Boss and April Ross.
Tapping the line, 13-17.
In fact, you could hear Jenn Boss saying, line, line. That's the spot behind that Walsh block that is open. You get a great view on the end here. Line is open behind Walsh. Good listen by April Ross. That's that communication that they've been working on. It failed on the play before. They got aced because they didn't communicate down the middle with the serve, but that time it worked.
Kerri Walsh drives it hard past the block for 18-13. When you're out there having fun, the AVP would like to remind you to vive responsibly. Kerri Walsh-Jennings, married to AVP star Casey Jennings.
And she's actually going to go on to play other tournaments this year. This is May's last match, but Walsh going to hook up with Nicole Branna to go overseas to play some.
On 2, got it. Great setup right there. April Ross takes that short serve and passes it right up for Boss to attack. And now this is what they want. They got Jenn Boss serving, and they have April Ross, who's really been working on her blocking and has come a long way.
She has all week. They've been really focusing on the block with Coley Kyman. And Jenn Boss is just amazed at April Ross's learning curve. Just her vision when she's seeing the ball and waiting and watching the hitters approach, and her hand penetration over the net. I've been impressed watching her the last couple weeks. You see her reaching over and forcing her opponent to hit out.
And that might not show up in the stat book, Karch, as a block, but it's just as good. She funneled that ball out of bounds.
That very play, Walsh with a rare hitting error, trying to avoid the Ross block at the net.
(19-15). I know you're great friends with Troy Tanner, former gold medalist. You guys were old teammates. You know, he's the coach for Kerri and Misty, and he said they've seen each other one time in 3 weeks as a group.
The only time you really get to see them is at tournaments now, because they've both been so busy coaching here, of course, as he has for much of the last 2 years when they decided to make a coaching change in their quest for a second gold.
I think Troy settles them down as well. He's a mellow guy. Knows exactly what to say to him. He says the 3 B's before every single match.
Exactly.
Breathe, battle,
and believe. He wants them to get that good breathing rhythm going, and of course believe in themselves and each other.
I think breathing's important. And I know Kerri gets going, and she needs to take a step back and breathe a little bit. They're just so different, Kerri Walsh and Misty Mae-Traenor. That's what makes them so special.
Well,
Kerri will show that emotion.
Oh,
right
yeah.
home.
Yeah, and I think breathing is definitely directed towards Kerri Walsh, who gets a little bit more worked up. Misty Mae-Traenor is much more calm, cool, and collected, just kind of keeps an even keel.
But it eats her just as much.
Oh, yeah.
When they lose.
She definitely wants to win every match as well.
Kerri Walsh puts it off the block and down the line, and the crowd will rise in Manhattan Beach. Kerri Walsh and Misty Mae-Traenor are trying to make it 4 titles in a row at the Manhattan Beach Open. 26-year-old April Ross from 10 feet off the net, puts it down the middle. Mae-Traenor makes a spectacular dig for the title. Walsh will now have a chance. And Kerri Walsh and Misty Mae-Traenor are Manhattan Beach Open winners for the 5th time.
What a great note to end on for a great team. This is their last tournament of the year together. And who knows when we're going to see them playing again.
In a year, they won the World Championship.
Okay, there it is. Misty and Kerri, their 4th straight Manhattan Beach Open. 5 of the last 6 beating April Ross and Jenn Boss. April Ross's 3rd year on the AVP Tour. We'll get you back out to Manhattan for some post-game with Misty and Kerri, but now we are in the 28th side switch in the men's game. 14-14. Let's take you right back out to Mike Goldberg and St. John Smith with the call.
And redefining athletically gifted, the man Chris McGee calls Superman, son of Jarrell, none other than Sean Rosenthal, looking for his 5th career AVP win. Gibb in search of his 8th, Wong in search of his 9th, Kiraly in search of his 149th. 1 point ago. Watch it one more time, St. John.
Now, the key here, what you want to look at, is him reaching his hands over, parallel to the ground. Oh, and now, does he not look like a high jumper coming over the bar and getting back, going back over? Unbelievable. Wow.
Good. If he were a high jumper, he'd probably be one of the best at it.
Come on.
Here's Gibb again with a swing.
Come on.
Karch keeps it alive one more time.
Both balls hit the block, so it had to go over.
And through the block on the 3rd occasion.
Jake is gone. Gibb, it took him 3 tries, and he said, I'm not hitting it near Karch this time. I'm hitting towards the line.
15-15 here in game 2. Gibb and Rosenthal trying to win for the first time on the beach since the first event of last year in Fort Lauderdale. And you know what? They've been proud of their consistency. There was a time where we talked about trying to overcome the finals, overcome Rogers Dahlhauser. Then Jake said this week, I'd rather not talk about the finals. But they've kept smiling through it all. And it's not easy. Even though they're getting there, St. John, this has not been easy. And they haven't won yet. This has not been easy on Gibb Rosenthal. The battle continues. And the wind blew the ball right into the hand of Jake Gibb.
You know, you're the second best team on the tour, and you leave every event this year PO'd,
right,
bummed out.
Exactly.
Every single event, but you're basically number 2 on the tour. That can't be good, but then if you sit back and take a look at what you've accomplished, they got to feel pretty good about it, knowing you could never win unless you get to the final.
And like I said to Jake Gibb, and I said knock on wood 3 times, but I said if it ended today and it was the AVP that qualified you for the Olympics, you'd be the 2nd representative for the United States of America in the Olympics. And he said, yeah, knock on wood. And those points are earned internationally.
Karch again tooling the block of Gibb. Gibb's responsibility was a line, but Karch is able to find a way with an off-speed shot into his outside hand, out of bounds. Here it is. He's facing cross court, and he just turns his hand so it goes off the block and out of bounds.
Kevin Wong to serve. He serves short to Jake Gibb. On to Rosenthal.
Sean Rosenthal.
That plan didn't work.
17.
Well, they haven't used that, and it's a very, very effective play to put that ball up quickly on 2 so the block can't set up. Here it is. The quick pass up in the air. And Rosenthal just is all over that.
Touch you in.
Karch with the touch. Gibb somehow keeps it alive after Rosenthal was able to make the dig. Can he do it again? Not that time.
A little something for the effort, ladies and gentlemen.
Wong and Kiraly running their opponents all over championship court.
A lot of sprinting. That'll wear you down. It'll take them a moment to get their breath after this one. But here's the start. Off the incredible dive now. Great run. It had to go over. Kevin, at the last minute, makes a move, and here it is. Another move. And he cannot get to that one.
Oh, no, we don't. Just a lift off camera.
Timeout called. Mike Rangel, the coach for Karch Kiraly and Kevin Wong.
All right, so we got timeout called here late in the men's match. 2007 AVP Tampa Open men's finals between Jake Gibb and Sean Rosenthal, Karch Kiraly, and Kevin Wong. As I said, we'll get you right back out to the post-game Misty and Kerri with Chris Gibb and McGee following the thrilling conclusion of this exciting men's match between Jake Gibb, Sean Rosenthal, Karch Kiraly, and Kevin Wong. And I did just mention it, Sean Rosenthal having an absolutely stellar match here, putting the ball away every time they go to him with the side out, optioning some balls, defending behind that big block with big spiker really having himself a heck of a match. But Karch Kiraly and Kevin Wong here trying to make it three, trying to take the 3 sets. We'll get you back to the call. Chris Goldberg and St. John Smith on the call.
The other teams are playing and throws out the information, and if they need it, they use it.
And he's a magician with getting these guys to a fitness level previously, at least it would seem unattainable. Kevin Wong talked about working out with Mike Rangel. He said he pushes you so hard, but then he has a way of bringing up a different subject while he's just beating you down so the pain goes away at least for a couple of minutes.
Here we go.
17-17, 15 ties, 5 lead changes here in game 2.
And Jake Gibb sticks it
Karch
off
wants that one back.
18-17.
It wasn't a very hard spike down the line, and Karch was right in the right spot, but he just didn't control it.
Gibb and Rosenthal have not led by more than 1 point this entire game. Wong and Kiraly led by 2 points at 10-8.
Okay, just want to remind you guys, thank you for joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe our YouTube channel, Bet the Beach. We got 28 Switch coming. We got all kinds of additional content coming to you. 18-17, close one in the third set.
Rosenthal was standing right there. I don't think he trusted himself to go again down the line.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is crunch
Gibb in
time.
his
A round
fourth
of applause.
straight Florida tournament final. Timeout called by Kiraly and Wong.
They do not want to let things get out of hand. It's 19-17, so they got to stop them right now.
The point before that, I got to make that play. I will next time.
We're going to get a good pass, fed hit, and then we're going to think our strategy through. What do you think? You want to go with Jake or you want to go with Rosie? Jake, for sure. Stay on Jake. All right.
Don't you think? What do you think?
All right, so let's stay on Jake.
I was all over that ball. I don't know how I missed that dig.
All right, on Jake.
You got to love Karch there. I was all over that ball. I don't know how I missed that dig. And then they asked Kevin who he wants to block. He says, I want to take Jake line. What do you think, Karch? You know, maybe I should defer to the guy who's got 148 wins on the AVP Tour to my 8. But it's 19-17, as they said. It's crunch time here. And as I was saying, make sure you please like and subscribe the Bet the Beach YouTube channel. We got all kinds of content coming for you here in 2024. I'm very excited about it. We got live streams following AVP, the new league. We're watching FIVB. We got a bunch of qualifying tournaments before the 2024 Olympics here in Paris in July. I think we're like 150 days away from the 2024 Olympics. We'll do live streams, watch-alongs of those matches. We got some other stuff coming, maybe some Super Spike Volleyball from the original NES game system, some live streams as I try to win the World Tour on Super Spike Volleyball. But again, let's get you back out to the call. The final points from the 2008 AVP Tampa Open Men's Finals.
They got a side out right now. They're on the good side.
Did it go off his hand?
Ladies and
No, it
gentlemen,
did not.
on your
You know, I haven't seen Kevin do that all tournament long. It's a good set. He tried to hit it hard and high, and it went out of bounds.
I know what Jake Gibb and Sean Rosenthal are thinking. We're 1 point away from finally game, match, championship point. And it is all over.
Ladies
They
and gentlemen,
have finally won again. Jake Gibb and Sean Rosenthal win here in Tampa.
And Jake Gibb and Sean
And And there it is. Jake Gibb and Sean Rosenthal get their first win on the AVP Tour in 10 straight AVP Finals appearances. And they would take this and propel them into a very strong remainder of the season in 2007, a strong 2008, in which they would qualify for the 2008 Beijing Olympics, in which they would take 5th place. Gibb going on to become a 4-time Olympian in beach volleyball. Rosie 2 times. Jake then going on to play with Casey Patterson in 2016, and then qualifying with Taylor Crabb and playing with Triborn due to COVID in 2020. As I said, let's get you back out to the women's match, the post-game, where we have Kerri Walsh and Misty Mae with Kiraly McGee.
Unbelievable. Well, Kerri, I'm going to start with you. That's a lot of money. 4 Manhattan Beach titles in a row, 5 total. What does it mean to you to do it right here in front of this crowd?
Gator, I am so happy. I can't even tell you. It's been so overwhelming since we got back from Beijing. And, we had a couple losses and we bounced back last week, but then we lost early this morning to Ross and Boss. So to come back and to win against a team that we have so much respect for, against a team that always pushes us to the limit, I'm so proud. And this check kind of quells the loss from this morning, but we're so happy. And thank you guys, Manhattan Beach. We'd love to be home.
Misty Mae, I know you guys have been pulled in all kinds of directions after Olympic gold, but you now end it with a title in Manhattan Beach. What does it mean to you?
We're up there with the greats. 4 names on the pier. Awesome. But, our hats off to Ross Boss. They had a great tournament, and it's always fun to win down here in Manhattan. The crowd is great. And we got the key to the city today. But then also, this is where volleyball started. So it's nice to come back home.
Well, you guys have that $100,000 check, the Crocs Cup trophy, and you can call yourselves champions again.
Kiraly McGee with the legends, Misty Mae and Kerri Walsh-Jennings. So Misty and Kerri would go on to win another gold, in that one in 2012, a few years after the conclusion of this Manhattan Beach Open. They'd win that gold in London. And interestingly enough, April Ross would then partner with Jenn pretty soon after this, and they would go on to take a silver in the 2012 London Olympics in beach volleyball. Misty and Kerri would take at least one more finish on the AVP Tour. They would take a second at AVP Glendale in September of 2009. But this one here was their last AVP gold medal match. Kerri and April Ross would get together for the 2016 Rio Olympics, in which they would take bronze. And then, of course, you know the rest. April takes a gold in 2020 with her partner Alex Kleinman in Tokyo. On the men's side, Karch's, this was his last top 2 finish on the AVP Tour after an illustrious career in which he won 148 AVP golds. He would take that he would take one more finish in the top 3 the next week in Atlanta, which was a 3rd. And as I said, Jake Gibb would go on to qualify for the next 4 beach volleyball Olympics. That'll do it for us here on 28 Switch, Bet the Beat Live. As I said, please make sure you like and subscribe. It really helps us out and lets me know, that you're enjoying the content that I'm doing. 28 Switch is going to be a continuing feature, so we hope you stick with us. We're going to take another match, maybe 2008, 2009. We're going to keep moving into the future here, I think, for a little while. And we got some awesome other stuff coming, so make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms. Anyways, that'll do it for me. My name is Krista Turk. You have been watching 28 Switch, Episode 1, The Handoff, right here on Bet the Beach Live. We will see you next time.